I'm currently head of PE at Hitchin Boys School, and I also am head of coaching at Letchworth Hockey Club. So in terms of, if you know the school, you'll know that PE and sport is a big part of it. So there's clubs every morning, lunchtime, after school, Saturdays, and my coaching tends to take up a couple of evenings plus weekends as well. So even in kind of the quieter times, life can sometimes feel a little bit full on. But when I reflect upon my journey that got me to this point, I really reflect upon the way in which God brought me from one place to another. So in 2017, my vocational well-being wasn't particularly great. My overall well-being wasn't very good either. So I'd got myself into quite a bad physical, mental, spiritual and professional kind of real low point at that moment. And out of the back of that, me and Charlie realised that we needed something new. We needed a bit of a change. And so we started looking for other opportunities. We applied for jobs abroad, different teaching jobs, and we came close to a job in the Cayman Islands. And we're actually in the process of applying for a job in Tokyo when the job at Hitchin Boys came up. And in the end, I had to turn down the Hitchin Boys job because we were still waiting to hear on Tokyo. However, Tokyo situation didn't come to fruition. And then a couple of weeks later, the day after I'd signed a contract to take on a new role at school, at my previous school, we got a phone call saying the person who they had to offer it to had withdrawn. And so the offer at Hitchin Boys was back on. So it was God massively opening a door. However, at that point, Charlie didn't have a job. Because of the time of the year, Charlie had to hand in her resignation on the Friday. There was no job in line. And then that evening, we found a job in Hitchin, where she now works. That evening, she had a phone conversation with the head, and the following week she had an interview and got the job there. So it was clear that God was opening doors for us in to come down. And then 2 years down the line, I applied for the head of department job and really didn't expect to get it. And to be offered that job, I still remember that day, and it was kind of one of the most emotional moments of my life, just because I reflected on how far God had taken me from that real low point of my life, in both a vocational and personal sense, all the way through to this really positive journey that we'd gone on, and to be offered kind of like my dream job. So my encouragement to you is that regardless of how you feel about your current situation, God has been with you in the journey so far, and he's going to open doors and be with you as you go through. So kind of to end on, I just want to give you my top 3 vocational wellbeing tips. Okay, so number 1 is be the best version of yourself every day. I know it sounds a bit of a cliche, but when I started my career 10 years ago, I just wanted to be me. And I thought, if I'm good at my job every day, not outstanding, not perfect, not being scared of making mistakes, but just being honest to myself, treating people well, and treating my job with respect as well. And actually that's fared for me personally really well. And God's been amazing in blessing me with opportunities and progressions as I've gone through. The next thing is escapism. So find a way in which you can disconnect from work and home. And it's really difficult at the moment with a lot of people who may be working from home or having a very different working life. I just want to encourage you to find a way in which you can relax, whether that's a box set. For me personally, it's Football Manager and my Xbox. Maybe Charlie wouldn't want that, but it's just a way in which I can do something which I have no real emotional connection to. It's just a nice way for me to relax, switch off and kind of forget about my working day. Okay, and then finally, thinking from a spiritual sense is don't make work your treasure. Okay, and there's a kind of the old saying about, do you work to live or live to work? And if you think about treasure, I remember Carl doing a series on this a few years ago, and God's got to get to your treasure in order to get to your heart. And if your whole identity and self-worth and vocational well-being is around your job, then God's maybe got to break a few of those things down in order to get to your heart. So I would just encourage you to find a healthy work-life balance, but also in Romans 12 it says to offer your life as a living sacrifice, and your job and your vocation, whatever that means to you, very much is included in that. And so to end on, I just kind of want to encourage you that God is absolutely with you right now. He's with you in your job, and actually if you were willing to sacrifice and be willing to allow him an opportunity within that, it doesn't necessarily mean you get more money or more happiness or more success, but what I hope he would bring you is peace, bring you joy, and he would walk with you in your journey. So hopefully see you soon, and hope you're all doing well.